Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be evaluating all the black cards in Core Set 2019.
You're going to evaluate them for limited, like draft and sealed, like your upcoming pre-release, which you get 6 packs of Core Set 2019.
That's right, and we're going to be evaluating these cards according to our 3-tiered system. Tier 1, these are our bombs, our unconditional removal, cards that win us the games. Tier 2, these are really strong cards. A bunch of these push us into that color, otherwise they're auto-include if we're already in that color. Tier 3 cards are our filler cards. Make sure that we hit those drops in our mana curve. Make sure we have a nice smooth mana curve. And the rest of the cards, they're either bad or too situational, so we're going to put those cards aside. So without further ado, let's get started with the common cards.
Let's start black off with iconic card, duel. A black sorcery, target opponent reveals his or her hand, you choose a non-creature, non-land card from it, that player discards that card. It's really iconic, but still put it aside. In limited, you're not really gonna do anything with it.
Now you really want to be hitting your opponent's bombs, and those are always going to be creatures.
Yeah.
Vampire Neonate is next for 1. We get a 0/3 Vampire, which allows us to pay 2 mana and tap it to make our opponent lose a life and we gain a life. Now, if it would just say pay 1 mana and tap it, or if it would be just tapping it and dealing 1 point of damage, these are all scenarios in which case I think it will be playable. The way that it is right now, I think it is not playable, mostly because it has 0 power. So if it would have at least 1 power, then we'd be talking, and then I'd even be willing to pay 2 mana for it, to tell you the truth. But with a 0 power, it's just simply not enough, and I would put it aside.
Yeah, the only 1 power is just anything. It's just everything is just not enough, and that's really a shame because I really want to like this one.
Yeah, or too expensive with having to pay for to tap it.
Exactly.
It's too expensive.
Walking Corpse is the next one. 1 and a black. It's a 2/2 zombie. It's a good filler. It's a zombie. Tier 3.
Yeah, usually people say this is a bear, and by bear they mean when you have a Rune Claw bear, just a bear for example, those are usually known as a 2/2s for 2. So this is also a 2/2 for 2, so in slang and magic people would say, oh, that's a bear.
It's a zombie bear.
Then we have Doom Dissenter for 1 and a black. It's a 1/1 human, and when this guy dies, we're going to create a 2/2 black zombie. Just put it aside. If you want a 2/2 zombie, just play a 2/2 for 2, or if you just want a 2/2 for 2, just look for that. But don't first have to jump through hoops, because if they don't kill this thing early on, then you're just poking people with 1, whereas you could have been poking at them with a 2/2.
Exactly. If you want a 2/2 for 2, play a 2/2 for 2.
Yeah.
Macabre Waltz, 1 and a black sorcery, return up to 2 target creature cards from graveyard to your hand, and then discard a card. Tier 3, you can get something back. You can actually get rid of a land that you won't be playing, and to get 2 creature cards. That's really good. It's a late game card, but it will actually get you a card that you want. So I think Tier 3, it's a good filler.
Yeah. If this would have been 3 or more mana, I probably wouldn't like it. But the fact that it's so cheap, it will actually, and the fact that it gets you 2 things back is just good enough to put it as an inclusion.
It is.
Child of Night is the next card we're going to be looking at, and it is for 1 and a black. So for 2 mana, it is a 2/1 vampire with lifelink. Now, I don't like my 2/1s for 2, as Stefan knows. I usually never want to play them. But the lifelink makes it a good filler card because early game, it allows you to have that 4-point life swing change, and late game, it can chump block and still gain you life on top of that. So I do think it has a lot more functionality than just any old 2/1.
Exactly. The incidental lifelink is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Sovereign's Bite, 1 and a black. Sorcery, target player loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. This life gain isn't that great. It's 1 time. That swing, will it do enough? I don't think it will, so just put it aside.
Yeah. You may say, oh, a 6-point life swing is nice, but the question is it worth that card slot? Yeah. And is it worth that mana? And together, it's just, you want something that does a little bit more. Abnormal Endurance is next for 1 and a black. So for 2 mana, it's an instant. So we got our combat trick. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains whenever this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped on its owner's control. I love this. This is an awesome combat trick. It allows you to do extra damage. It allows you to trade up. It allows you to not lose your bomb or whatever good creature you've got. It does so many different things. This is the essence of a awesome, powerful combat trick that I'd love to play.
And if it would have a enter battlefield trigger, it will trigger again. And that's actually what I really like about these kind of things. You can just do so much little things with it that's just really cool.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It is. Next one is Infernal Scarring. 1 and a black, enchantment aura, enchant creature gets +2/+0, and has, when this creature dies, draw a card. It replaces itself, but then you have to like play on it and they will know. That's why I like the other one better, because it's a surprise. They know what's happening, and if it's not even pumping toughness, that's really a shame, because a 2/2 will be 4/2 but still blocks by 2/2 and you get something back, but I don't think that's enough.
No.
So just put it aside.
Yeah. Then we move on to Hired Blade for 2 and a black. So for 3 mana, it is a 3/2 human assassin. So I'm already happy with that body right off the bat. That's good. It also has flash, which means this basically works like a combat trick. So it's a combat trick or a creature. You can use it just at the end of your opponent's turn to cast this, and then you've got a 3/2 that you can attack where they weren't expecting it. Or when people attack into you with something with 4 toughness or lower that they don't want to lose, but they didn't expect you were going to be able to block efficiently anyway, you can flash this in, block, and kill that thing.
You can't kill anything with 4 toughness with this one.
I said 3.
You said 4.
I meant 3.
Mind what? 2 and a black. Sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards. We've talked about this before. As the same with Duress, discarding cards. Late game, it's not going to do anything. Early game, they can choose what they want to discard, so just put it aside.
Yeah. It's the kind of card that you think, this is great, I'm going to be playing late, then our opponent will make them discard their bomb. But it could also be that it comes in late, and your opponent doesn't have anything good in their hand anymore, or nothing at all. It does absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
And too early, it's also not good, because then they're going to discard the worst stuff in their hand. So it's also not getting a lot. Sky March Bloodletter for 2 and a black. We get a 2/2 flyer. Once again, I love my 2/2 flyers for 3. Very happy with that. Additionally, when it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses a life and we gain a life. Okay, whoop, big whoop. That doesn't matter.
Not that exciting, but a 2/2 for 2.
Tier 2, bless you. This is definitely the kind of cards that win games because they come in so early and they deal so much damage over the course of the game.
Yeah, so insane. Strangling Spores, 3 and a black, instant, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. I really like this one, instant speed, -3/-3, so good, tier 2. It's a really good combat trick, it's really good removal.
Yeah, it actually functions as either just regular conditional removal or as an additional combat trick. 2-headed zombie for 3 and a black, so we get a 4/2 with menace. Now, I really don't like my 4/2s. Why? Because they die to 2/2s for 2. So you're paying 4 mana and you're losing a 4 mana card and they're losing a 2 mana card. So that's why you should never play those. However, this card has menace, which means they're going to have to double block this thing. And they're not going to have 1/1s for 1. So essentially they're going to have to put their 2/2s to be able to block this thing. And then they're going to lose both of those cards. And all of a sudden now you're 2 for 1ing them. And that is super strong. I would still say tier 3, very nice filler, because of course there are going to be scenarios where it doesn't do that much, but most of the time you're going to be able to get in with a lot of damage.
And this is some pretty nice evasion creature, so that's really important.
Yeah.
Infectious Horror, 3 and a black, it's a 2/2 zombie horror, and when he attacks, each opponent loses 2 life. That reach, I don't think it's good enough for the body and the cost, so just put aside.
Yeah, this thing, once again, for 4 mana, it will die to a 2/2 for 2. Don't want that. Skeleton Archer for 3 and a black. We got a 3/3. So for 4 mana, we got a 3/3. I'm really happy with that. Body's fine. Additionally, when it enters the battlefield, it's going to deal 1 damage to any target. Okay, so it's filler, just right off the bat. The fact that it could deal 1 point damage, do we think that our opponent's going to have that 1 toughness creature if they're playing Magic the way they should? They probably don't. But you can always play it in your second main phase after people blocked with a creature and it just didn't die. And then this one could be that extra point of damage that pushes it over the edge. And they were definitely not expecting that.
It will kill all the 3/1s you have.
And, and in the end, what you can also do is just say, okay, I deal 1 point damage to your head.
Exactly.
Okay.
Epicure of Blood, 4 and a black. It's a 4/4 vampire. And whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So every instance of life gaining, they lose 1 life, and this will be irrelevant. But still, for 5 mana, 4/4 is actually pretty decent, a good filler.
That's okay, filler right there, yeah. Lich's Caress for 3 and 2 black. So for 5 mana, it's a sorcery. It says destroy target creature, we gain 3 life. Okay, once again, 3 life incidental, but it is unconditional removal, which means, bam, tier 1, always play it. And if you got a couple of these, well, you're going to be wanting to play black.
I always want to play black.
That's true.
Box Stomper, 4 and 2 black, 6/5 beast. It's a filler. If you're searching for a big creature, this is a big creature, but it's not really that exciting. So just a tier 3.
It's just a filler, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's got quite a decent amount of power, which means it will kill a lot of stuff, unlike the elephant that we had in white, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the commons. Let's have a look at the uncommons. The first of our uncommon black cards is Stitcher's Supplier. For a single black, it is a 1/1 zombie, and it states that when it enters the battlefield or when it dies, we're going to put the top 3 cards of our library into our graveyard. This is definitely not what you want to be doing in Limited, so we're just going to immediately put this card aside.
Yeah. Nightmare's Thirst, 1 mana, instant, you gain 1 life, target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life gained this turn. It's a bit of fun combat trick, I guess. I don't think it will be that relevant, so just put it aside.
It's just so little, you know. It really wants the synergy with that life gain, and that's you're gonna find that much greater in Constructed.
Yeah.
Diregraph Ghoul is next for a single black. It is a 2/2 zombie, but it does enter the battlefield tapped. Now, I think this is a fine filler. Just put it on par with a 2/2 for 2. This takes up your 2 slot, and it just happens to be just a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. Reassembling Skeleton, 1 and a black. It's a skeleton warrior. It's a 1/1, and for 1 and a black, return reassembling skeleton from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So reassemble it. I really like this card. I really do, and you too.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Just bad.
it's just limited. It's just really bad.
Yeah.
So just put it aside.
In Commander, for example, it's such a nice card to be able to keep on that recursion and keep getting value out of creatures dying. You keep on doing it over and over again, and that's awesome. But in Limited, you have no use for this 1/1. Ravenous Harpy is next for 2 and a black. So for 3 mana, it's a 1/2 flyer. And we can pay a mana and sacrifice another creature to put a +1/+1 counter on this. So you think, okay, ideal scenario, I got all these tokens, and then I'm sacrificing them. This thing becomes a big flyer, we're attacking with it. Most of the cases, however, you're going to be playing creatures that you actually want, you're actually going to use, which means that you don't want to be losing your 2/2 for 2, that's basically the worst thing you could have. You don't want to lose your 2/2 for 2 just to make this into a 2/3. It's simply too many hoops to go through, and then what if they use removal against this? You feel terrible, so just put it aside.
Yeah, you've sacrificed multiple cards, and then they remove this. Ugh,
painful.
So painful. Plague Mare, 1 and 2 black. It's a 2/2 Nightmare Horse, and Plague Mare can't be blocked by white creatures. When Plague Mare enters the battlefield, creature your opponent controls get -1/-1 until end of turn. That's actually really good. It will get rid of all the damage things or one-toughness things, but even without it, it's still 2/2 for 3 that can't be blocked by white creatures. I think tier 3 a decent filler.
Yeah, and once again, just as with the white one, beware when you want to play this. If you want to be in 3 colors, then this is definitely difficult to cast.
Also the blue one.
The blue one. Then we have a Murder for 1 and 2 black. It's an instant. Destroy target creature. Once again, tier 1, so cheap, so strong, so instant, much wow, always play it.
Gravedigger, 3 and a black, a 2/2 zombie, and when he enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, which is pretty cool, good filler.
Yeah, the body is but you're going to be getting the best thing back out of there, so that's definitely strong.
Exactly, and I really love getting back things out of graveyard. I really like using that.
Yeah, and push comes to shove, worst case scenario, it's still a 2/2 body. It's not just a sorcery, it still can do something. Blood Divination for 3 and a black, so for 4 mana, it is a sorcery, which allows us to draw 3 cards, but only if we first sacrifice a creature. Now, I'm going to put this card aside. Yes, drawing 3 cards for 4 is good, but remember, we got to get rid of something. And what if we're in a scenario where we don't have something that we can really get rid of? Then this card is dead in our hands.
Yeah, and that's what I really dislike out of it. You can because you're probably losing your turn also, which means you're sacrificing something of yourself, and then you're kind of losing the turn. Later in the game, it will get better for you then, but that turn you just messed up.
Yeah, it's no good.
Fell Spectre, 3 and a black. It's a 1/3 Spectre with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card. When the opponent discards a card, you gain 2 life. The player loses 2 life. It's not good enough. You should just put it aside for 4 mana. No.
This card does not have the body necessary to make it worth the cost, and you want to see this in a deck with has high synergy with discarding, and you're just not going to be able to pull that off in limited. Rise from the Grave for 4 and a black, so for 5 mana, it's a sorcery. It allows us to put target creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield, and it's going to be a zombie in addition to the other types. This seems like so much fun, you know. You think to yourself, oh, you start to think because you're trying to. Whenever you look at each one of these cards, you're trying to find the solution. You're trying to figure out how is this card good. But then you're actually hurting yourself by looking for these magical scenarios, which only happen sometimes. So you think to yourself, okay, what's going to happen is we're playing, and I'm going to have my removal, and I'm going to kill their bomb, and their bomb's going to be in the graveyard. And the next turn I'm going to cast it, then I'm going to take their bomb, and I'm laughing. But there's also going to be a lot of times where that simply doesn't happen. Either their bomb's still there, they haven't played their bomb. The stuff in the graveyard is all 4 or less converted mana cost. You're just not gonna get the value out of this that you really should in that case, and that's why for example, like Danse Macabre, which only costs 2 mana, so much better because you can still do more stuff. You can get stuff back. It gives you so much more flexibility than this.
Yeah, and you can get 2 cards back in essence, so that's also nice. But yeah, just put it aside. Vampire Sovereign is the last of the uncommons. It's 3 and 2 black. It's of a 3/4 vampire with flying, and when she enters battlefield, the opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Not that relevant, but that body is actually really good. I think I always want to play this.
Yeah, 3/4 flyer for 5. Pretty strong. We normally we want to have 4/4 flyers, but I think this one's still going to do quite a lot of work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The body is just pretty good. Like the toughness and 3 power is not bad.
In the air, it's very nice. And don't forget that 4 toughness is still going to be better than those snapping drakes, for example.
Yeah,
it's going to be able to kill those. All right, that is the last of the uncommons. Let's have a look at the rares.
Our first rare is Infernal Reckoning, a black instant exile target colorless creature. You gain life equal to its power. That sounds very strong, but the things that are bombs or anything aren't really the colors in general, so it's not gonna do anything for you in limited. Just put it aside.
Yeah, this is especially a card that was designed against the Eldrazi in Modern and doesn't really have any purpose outside of that. Graveyard Marshal is next for 2 black. It's a 3/2 zombie soldier. That is an awesome body for the converted mana cost. And additionally, for 2 and a black, we can exile a creature from our graveyard and put a tapped 2/2 zombie creature token. This is tier 2. If you've got a couple of these, awesome synergy, and we're gonna be doing a lot of damage very early on in the game, and late game we're gonna be able to use all those creatures that died to get a small army going again. So if I'm in black, auto include this one definitely.
Yeah, it's a good body for the price, and you get more bodies. Sure.
Once again, perfect example of good early and good late.
Yeah. Death Baron, 1 and 2 black, 2/2 zombie wizard. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have death touch. I think it's such a shame that it doesn't give itself death touch.
Yeah.
But even then, it's just not good enough, because we probably won't have any other skeletons or any other zombies. Just put it aside.
Yeah, but there's so many commander decks that love this.
Yeah,
but just not in limited.
People love their zombies.
Yeah, just not in limited. It's just not going to do enough. Izareth the Awakener for 1 and 2 blacks. So for 3 mana, we get a 3/3 Death Toucher. I already love my Death Touchers in limited because they always trade up. That's awesome. And whenever this creature attacks, we can pay X mana. And when we do, we're going to return target creature card with converted mana cost X from our graveyard onto the battlefield, and it's going to have a corpse counter on it, which means that whenever it dies after that, it's going to be exiled instead of going back to the graveyard. So it's going to be giving us added advantage. Its power and toughness is amazing for the price. The Death Touch means it kills anything, and every single turn we're going to be getting something back if if all goes according to plan. So that means tier 2 for me.
If she doesn't die, you get so much
They have to kill it. They have to kill it. Yeah.
Phylactery Lich. 3 black. It's a 5/5 zombie. It is indestructible. As Phylactery Lich enters the battlefield, put a Phylactery counter on an artifact you control. When you control no permanents with Phylactery counters on them, sacrifice Phylactery Lich. Which means you have to be wary about artifact destruction, and you have to have artifacts. So that's really important. And if you don't, it's not gonna do anything. So just put it aside, because it's difficult to cast, and you have to have artifacts on the table when you cast this. And if you don't, it's not doing anything.
Does absolutely nothing. Now, Demon of Catastrophes is the next card for 2 and 2 blacks. So for 4 mana, we get a 6/6 flying trampler. However, we do have to sacrifice a creature who comes in, and you know we don't like sacrificing stuff to get things which don't impact the board. But this does impact the board, and it impacts the board
so much
in a huge way. So this is essentially tier 1. They don't have an answer for this right away. They are losing the game guaranteed.
It's just trample, and it is so big.
It is insanity, and it comes in potentially so early.
On turn 4, 6/6 trampler.
That's just unfair almost.
That
It's
will
unfair.
win you the game.
Oh,
Play it.
amazing. You pull that, you are in black. I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly. Liliana's Contract. 3 and 2 black. Enchantment. When Liliana's Contract enters the battlefield, you draw 4 cards and you lose 4 life. That's actually a lot. 4 life is a lot, especially 5 mana. Be wary about it, because later in the game you play this and you're kind of putting yourself in a pinch because you lost your turn and you lost 4 life, which might actually be important because that's an extra attack.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. How many different demons will you have in Limited? I don't think enough, and I think all in all, this card, just put it aside.
Yeah, it's a trap. Fraying Omnipotence is the next card we'll be looking at, and that is for 3 and 2 blacks. So for 5 mana, it's a sorcery. Each player loses half their life, then discards half the cards in their hand, then sacrifices half their creatures they control, rounded up each time. This is essentially, you can look at it as kind of like a board wipe. So we can put it in the same category. That's tier 1. You can play around this. Your opponent's not going to be playing around this. So we're going to make sure that we gain the most advantage out of this to blow them out in as many of these different categories as possible.
You have to be wary about it, because if the opponent has like 2 creatures or even 3 creatures and one's the bomb, they can also still keep the bomb.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that.
Yeah.
Open the Graves. 3 and 2 black. It's enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. It's really cool because you can get a lot of creatures when things die, but it's not gonna do anything when it comes in, and that is so important on the later turns. And even then, how many things will die after that? I don't think enough, so just put it aside.
And I don't think that 2 zombie is going to be worth the fact that you lost that creature as well. And the fact that we had to invest 5 mana, and the fact that it took us this card to do it.
Exactly.
Those are the rares. Let's have a look at the mythics. The first of our mythics is Liliana, Untouched by Death for 2 and 2 blacks. So for 4 mana, we get a 4 loyalty planeswalker. And her +1 is to put the top 3 cards of our library into our graveyard. And if at least one of them is a zombie card, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay, is that going to be likely? Unlikely. So that's not great. Then we're going to go to her -2. -2 is target creature gets -X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of zombies you control. Is that likely we're going to be able to do that? Not very likely. Okay, let's go to the -3. You may cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn. Is that likely going to be a benefit? Not going to be very likely. So this might actually be the very first Planeswalker we've ever reviewed, which we are going to put aside for our limited games.
Yeah, the thing is, we love Tezzeret because it has everything it wants on the card itself. And Liliana doesn't actually do anything if you're not overloaded with zombies. So it's so bad because you have to build around it. And in Limited, you can't really build around it. And it that pains my heart.
Yeah, let's just fix this card. The +1 is put a 2/2 zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Leave everything else the same, and then we're fine.
Exactly.
Too bad.
Yeah. Our last card of black is Bone Dragon. 3 and 2 black. It's a 5/4 dragon skeleton with flying. That is already so good. I think it's already tier 1, but it's not enough. Because for 3 and 2 black, exile 7 other cards from your graveyard, return Bone Dragon from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Which means it is potentially able to come back after it got removed. And that is so insane.
Yeah.
Tier 1.
Likely that it will return? I don't think so, because it's got to be in the graveyard, and then you have to 7 other cards. That means it's basically your graveyard's got 8 cards in them, and I think that is quite hard to get to in a limited game.
It is quite hard, but I think
still 4/5, a 5/4 flyer for 5, still gonna win games anyway.
I think it's still gonna be a relevant ability.
Okay.
Especially when we've looked at the cards, and I don't think there's like really a lot of fast strategies. So I think you can like grind them out, and then you at one point have 7 cards in your graveyard, and then it's just getting back.
I think that you're right that it's slow and you can grind people out. I just don't think that grinding and taking a long time is going to fill your graveyard that much. I think you're going to have still a lot of creatures on the table, and I just don't think there's going to be so many cards in the graveyard. But I could be wrong. I personally think it's not relevant because it's a 5/4 flyer for 5.
Exactly. It's already a tier 1.
Just play it. Just play it. It's fucking awesome. All right. There we go. Those are the mythics. Let's have a look at the conclusion. Personally, I think black has a lot of potential. I like it better than white, but I like it worse than blue. I think the cards are worse than the cards that blue has. Of course, naturally, it does have a little bit of evasion. It does have a little bit of removal. It does have a little bit of those bombs. The question I have is, are we really going to be pulling those cards when we're opening those packs? And it's so dependent on getting those really good cards, because there's just so many cards in here that love synergy. Either you need to have stuff in your graveyard, you need to have the skeletons or the zombies, you need to have all these synergies, you need to have artifacts, you need to have all these synergies that I just don't think work very well in limited. So that means you need to grab those gems, and that's hit or miss. You could grab all the good ones. You could grab your demon, your 4 mana 6/6 demon, but you could also get your phylactery lich, and then you got nothing. So it really hit or miss, and I think that's going to be super dependent on what you draw. And I don't think everybody's going to have just as much luck with black.
Yeah, I think you have some of the evasion, like the menace creature, so that's really nice. And unconditional removal in common and uncommon, and I don't think you should scoff at that. The thing is, you have to be wary. Murder is too black, but I think unconditional removal it's too good to not leave. Yeah. And that's why I think black is always such a good color. But that's also why I always like to play black.
Yeah, I think black has a lot of potential, but it also has the potential that you grab exactly those cards. You get those cards in your pack that exactly don't do anything.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you'll probably have some removal. I mean, I play 3 colors anyway, so that's fine.
But you should be playing 2 colors. There we go. All right, well, anyway, now we're going to ask you guys to go head on over to patreon.com/Budget MTG Decks. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, and we'd like to thank all our current patrons for making these videos happen. Also ask you to head on over to our social medias, where you can join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where you can talk to us. We do polls, we share pictures, behind the scenes stuff, all that good stuff. So head on over, and you can also talk to us and ask us questions and tell us what you think about these videos as well. And don't forget to subscribe over here on YouTube for the most powerful decks and advice everyone can afford. And if you do, hit the little bell button to be part of the notification squad, because then you'll get notified when a new video comes out. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.